Welcome, welcome, welcome. As I give the greeting of the day, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the Final Boss podcast. Today's special edition. Tuesdays we have our guest host on. Today, I have the privilege of introducing you to the world-renowned global citizen, my brosin, my big cuz, the man with no limits. Listen,
No limit.
D. You better put the D in front of his name. D. Johnny Rio. Let's give him a clap.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, big cuz.
Thank you, sir. How are you?
I'm well, man. Good to see you, and I'm glad you're on the show. Our last attempt as two IT professionals with over 40 years of experience combined, man, it was ugly. But we're here today, and we're getting live, man. And we're going to talk about business and business as it relates to best practices, marketing strategies, and modern business world in that space. But before we get started, man, I got a couple of things I want to put out there. Listen, y'all. This is my big cuz, man. He's been my big brother, right? We grew up together. Listen to what I have to say. Today, at our age, low 40s. That's what we go. Low 40s. We still get tickled by the simplest things, man, and we'll laugh our asses off. And shout out to some thrift shop, right? Shout out to some thrift shop. Shout out to Joe Rockhead.
About Sergeant Rockhead, absolutely.
And shout out to Scrappy Doo Underwear. Scrappy Doo.
Oh man, that's how we start. Okay,
that's how we start, man. We started with the Scrappy Doo Underwear. Listen. Man, it's good to see you. It's good to have you on the show.
You too, yeah, man. I'm blessed and honored, and I know we did have a few snafus, but I think things happen when they're supposed to. Right?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, that's God's energy right there.
We just roll with it, and it's things daily we deal with, so we got to make the best of it and roll with it. Roll with the punches.
Roll with it. Knock them out. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna give you the floor, man. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about business. I know people have some questions who are watching. We just going in off of your perspective and your high level of experience when it comes to business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the thing I say is, business can be a beautiful mistress, right? If you treat her right, she can move up to that dedicated lady, but it's a lot of work. And sometimes there are no guarantees. More often than not, there are no guarantees. You go into it with the best intentions. People think they have a solid plan. They've accounted for any and every variable. We sit down and we talk about what's your competition or what's the market size. And, everyone says, I have no competition. I have something unique to the market. The reality is, when I look at a business, one of the first things I'm thinking about is what is my exit strategy from it. So before I even get started, or before you even get started, how do you get out of it, right? So when you think about relationships, marriages, those type of things, to me, and I respectfully say this, I believe that a business, getting into a business and then even into a business partnership is one of the hardest things to break away from, all things being equal. So you got to think about how are you going to get out of it? And then what do you ultimately want to get out of it, right? So everybody wants to make money, right? So we started talking about profit. You better think about the other piece: passion, impact, and perspective. And how do those things tie in? Like, what is your why for what you're doing with your business? Is it just simply to make money? Well, we can find millions and millions of those things to do. Or what type of impact are you trying to bring with this type of business or service? And that to me is one of the bigger things versus the money. The money will come as long as you are doing the proper education, proper service, product, and putting in the work. The money will come.
Absolutely.
But you got to also, the flip side of it is, what worked yesterday doesn't work today. What worked today may not work tomorrow. You know, are you receptive to change? Are you receptive to ideas? Are you receptive to looking at your market, or what you thought was your market may not be? And you got to be able to
Mhm.
shift and adapt and adjust. So that's my high level.
Okay. You
Yeah.
know, speaking of which, you had some great points, man. And just then when I had the record label, I used to try to stress to my artists that you put out good product. In turn, the byproduct is raising capital or having monetary resources come
Yep.
in.
Yep.
But you know, some artists, especially early in the game, they whatever background they come from, they're looking at the money first. And I'm like, you
Yeah.
put the good product out there, it's going to sell itself,
Right.
you know, and image and all those things play a great part, man. But to your point, oh man, you hit it right on the nose. And my first question for you,
Okay.
and thank you for that.
Yeah.
Oh, disclaimer. This, ladies and gentlemen, is for entertainment purposes only. I forgot to I always got to get the disclaimer. And you know, sometimes I forget about it, but
Awesome.
we got it done.
That's right.
Yep. My first question,
Sure.
based on your extensive knowledge and experience, what do you use as a litmus test to know if a business deal holds promise?
It's a great question. So, litmus test for me simply is, do I even understand what that particular project may be comprised of? So, one of the things I have learned in my 40 something plus years of living is, you can't boil the ocean. You can't do every project. You can't undertake every opportunity simply because there's some money to be gained or there's a belief of money to be gained. Right. So, again, are these things that align with your core values, your knowledge base, your understanding? Do you understand the numbers? Do you understand the project? Do you understand the scope, the complexity of it, the governance piece of it? You know, the legalities of it. And so, what happens is people will come with all types of grand ideas,
Hmm.
but it may be, I don't want to use the word not legal, but let's say it's not, it's frowned upon in a particular market. Or is that
Right.
something that you want to align yourself with based on chasing after a particular project? For me, probably not. Maybe 20 years ago, chasing money and chasing ideas, I probably didn't look at the fine print. And so now I want to really understand as best I can what are the components of that particular project and undertaking. If it doesn't make sense for me, you know, there'll be a pass for me. One of
Mhm.
the cool things about business, and this is just in life, is the faster we can arrive at a no versus just going for a yes all the time, you're better off because there are plenty of no's out here, but there's very finite yeses that are going to align with what makes sense for you. So, just coming from a sales background, we always were like pound, pound, pound till we get that yes. I'm doing the
Mhm.
opposite these days. You know, you're not interested or it doesn't make sense. I'm moving on to something because I want to spend that energy and effort towards the few things in life that really are lined up for that yes. So, you know, another litmus test for me is the faster I can arrive at a no, then I can focus the energy on a possible yes. So I look at those things. We go through volumes, and you have to have discernment. You have to have some past business experience to evaluate these deals. But the faster I can arrive at that no, sorry, doesn't work for me. Let me go focus on energy that, you know, so we can work towards the yes. And then the third piece is obviously looking at a deal and do the numbers make sense? Is it
Absolutely.
a project that we want to line up with? Again,
Mhm.
nobody's doing this stuff as a charity case, but if I spend this kind of energy and effort, what is the return on that time? Does it free up more time? Does it put more money in my bank account? And does it allow me to put some more resources into some other project? You know, so you got to think about what impact is it going to have for the next step. You know, if we're working on this project today, where does it put us in 6 months or 12 months? You know, so that litmus test also is this just a one-off type of thing? Sure. Okay. Does it make sense for us? Awesome. Or these are the things that we're using as building blocks to the next level. So that's for me. I want to figure out and tie in things so that I'm not doing efforts all over the place that don't come together and help to build a foundation.
Man, those some great points, cuz man, that's awesome. Hey, listen, you people out there, our audience who are interested in business, take some notes, please take some notes. We're going over a lot of information and certain discoveries that we may discuss, and you may have some output, so please take some notes. And man, thank you for that information.
Absolutely.
Listen, Brosen, I don't Brosen, big cuz you already know.
Yes.
Man, so as we get into it and we talk, we have these talks all the time, and we talk about the future of business. Business. And I have a question in reference to the future of business.
Okay.
And it's in your opinion, what does the AI for business model look like to you? And this is in your opinion.
Yeah. So, I mean, I believe we are still at our infancy stages of AI, but I believe I think it's a beautiful or perfect storm happening. It's going to allow us to do and think and operate in ways that we probably thought weren't imaginable before. To me, and I think the consensus is, man, we don't know what this is, and this is a scary thing. And so I view it more as this is where scary is a good thing, right? So if you're doing it for the right reasons or figuring out how to streamline, automate, and do things like that, or analyze, then yeah, let's figure it out. I mean, the reality, and you and I have been using some AI stuff, and some of our compadres, and the reality is, as long as you know how to ask the right questions, you can get a lot of valuable output, right? I don't think it's been really spun in a way of business overall yet. I think we're getting snippets of it. I'm not afraid of it. I'm looking forward to it because I think it's going to change the dynamic of how we operate. And then do we start to utilize this more, alleviate a lot of the mundane stuff, and let the AI kind of take on those tasks and summarize for us so we can do higher level thinking, higher level operating. So I think it's just going to get better and better. I think the education of what it can do and overcoming and demystifying the fear will also be a huge advantage, right? So I'm pretty sure most people have heard of ChatGPT or OpenAI or some other tool out there or platform. But the reality is AI, it's not going to replace humans. I mean, people talk about that kind of stuff, and don't get me, we can chat about that a different time, different day. But the reality is we can do, we as mankind can do some really interesting, cool things that we probably thought were unimaginable in our lifetimes. And so I'm excited about it just to see what that next phase is going to be for the next 5, 10, 15 years. I think it's going to be a tremendous trajectory. If I look back at the last probably 20 or 30 years, I mean, you got to realize we didn't have a smartphone until what, 04, 05, 06? I want to say 2006. And
right.
We all operate like it's been around forever, but it wasn't, and we've got these nifty, high-speed computers at every whim doing a lot of interesting things. I think about AI right now and just automation of life. And most people, like right now, they use what? GPS to drive around. I got to echo. So anyway, they're using GPS when they drive around, right?
Yep.
And you remember back in the day, we're going to the 7-Eleven or convenience store.
Maps. We had the maps, man, and the pen, and we was drawing.
You got to figure it out. You got to triangulate the best way to get there. You didn't account for accidents or traffic or anything, but that's the way of what the world was, and we did just fine. Are we doing better in this day and age? Absolutely. And I know a lot of people that I come across now probably couldn't read a map of it if their life depended on it. And it's not a knock against those that don't know how to do it or don't have a sense of direction.
Right.
I like seeing kind of what it was and now kind of where it is. And I think I just have a different appreciation for it.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, man. Most people probably wouldn't know what a map is or was in a paper form. So yeah. But thank you for the information, man. Great,
Sure.
great comments, and I always appreciate your perspective. You said a couple things that I want to. You kind of like I'm gonna use what you just stated, and I want to segue into, and you kind of like talked on it a little bit, and some of your talking points. I was going to ask, how does the transition look in business, which you kind of touched on, but also how do you see AI impacting business in terms of efficiency, decision making, and customer experiences?
I mean, it's already doing it. And again,
Yeah.
I don't use it in the context of replacing people, but
Mhm.
it's doing a lot of the grunt work that took large teams, lots of time, energy, and effort. And there was, there were more errors. But when you can look at algorithms now, or credit logic, or using AI to now build out things from an engineering perspective and ingest lots of information and go and build it just like that to perfect spec, is that a value in what society is going to look like in the future? I think it will, right? I
Yeah.
think we just got to figure out how we operate from a human interaction, because again, we can have all the products and services in the world. We are living beings and we love human interaction. And so that fundamental aspect, again, with virtual reality and all those things are wonderful,
Mhm.
but as long as I've been in tech, there's still nothing like getting together and still having that human interaction. Now, with the assistance of AI doing grunt work and the technology being able to assist us in ways that we probably want to move away from that manual aspects of it, then so be it. But like I said, I look at it as a good thing. I think it allows us to deploy, scale, reiterate, improve constantly in much faster cycles. So we just have to figure out what how that roadmap is going to look moving forward in the future. And I don't think anybody, has necessarily defined it. I mean, some of the guys like Elon Musk and those cats, I mean, they're sitting out there and just being brainchilds for this stuff. But the average person is just trying to get comfort level.
Right.
And once they do, and then once we get these things kind of incorporated into how we operate on a day-to-day basis, I think getting past the fear will allow us to actually embrace it and then start to utilize it to make our lives easier and more productive.
Absolutely, man. And I agree with you because AI can take care of, like you said, some of those mundane tasks, and we could use our brain power to create new technologies or what. But it's interesting, man. I was watching 60 Minutes
Hmm.
this past weekend, and they were talking about a company that is currently working on a quantum supercomputer.
Yep. Hmm.
And this quantum supercomputer, man, whoever master in the world, whoever masters the quantum computing will will control technology.
Right. The word they used was dominate.
Yeah, dominate, dominate. Absolutely. Thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And they were talking about that this this quantum computer can calculate a trillion equations a second.
Hmm.
Man,
Yeah.
the marvel in that. I was just like, wow, man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But yo, thank you for those. Thank you for the conversation, your talking points. Um,
Yeah.
man, great show. I wish we had more time, but for the time remaining, please
Yes.
let the people know what you're involved in, the different businesses that you are and business deals that you're working on, and information on how they could find you if they have business questions and things of that nature. The floor is yours.
Okay. Yeah. So my main company, my bread and butter is Rio 3 Consulting. I've had that since 2015, roughly, at the Johnny Rio, most social media platforms, TheJohnnyRio. You can find me, whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram. I think I have what is it, TikTok. I got all that stuff now, but at the Johnny Rio. Yeah. So some of the projects I can't talk about too much in depth, but we're
Mhm.
we're doing some interesting things in cyber security still doing the IT consulting. It's a very interesting space to be in right now. You know, we're not going to get on the CrowdStrike and all those type of things. That's just a microcosm. Ransomware, you know, bugs and those types of things will always be in the landscape. And so, from a cybersecurity and consulting perspective, that's almost free advertisement for the little guys out here and some of the larger companies as well, especially when you are given a more personalized touch to solving problems. And one of the things we've rested, you know, our hat on is being a trusted advisor in this space, no matter what we do. You know, whether we're
Absolutely.
doing pure business consulting, a
Mhm.
technology play, you know, a deployment, whatever it may be, you know, how can we add value and give unbiased third party input, you know, to
Mhm.
solve some business needs.
Right.
So those things are coming along. You know, I know I've talked to you a little bit about a, you know, large project I'm working on with the largest search engine. Can't, you know, officially talk about that, but, you know, some interesting projects that are going to come from that as well. And so, um, obviously, you know, I had Harley Q's Hookah still, you know, that was still
Mhm.
um, a business that we're going to do some other things with. But we had a great 5 year run in Vegas on all things hookah at the highest level. Things I probably didn't think were imaginable, but I also believe that things happen for a reason. And so, you know, just kind of getting back into this tech space is where it all began for me. So, getting back to the basics of what I know. And now, with technology moving at such a pervasive, accelerated points, you know, it's the right time to just get back in there, roll up your sleeves, and figure out how you can, you know, add some value and you know, find some new projects. So it's
Absolutely.
good stuff going.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
The hardest part, man, is is getting vetted, and you're vetted, so you're trustworthy. What's your mantra that we always talk about?
Which one?
Uh, like me, trust me, do
Oh,
business with
oh,
me.
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. If you like
yeah,
me, trust me, believe me, then you do business. And so
yeah.
that's been a family mantra for a long time. And I think,
Mhm.
you know, a good education, or, you know, selling is really the byproduct of a good education. And so the good education also comes from, do I like, trust, and believe this person, and do they obviously have to have a competency and knowledge base on a product or subject that they're talking about. So those things are not, you know, they don't operate in a vacuum. It's a collective of those things that I think get us to doing, you know, better business and more prosperous business, and then more long-term business. You
Absolutely.
know, I
Yeah.
think you said this many years ago, and I never forgot it. But you said relationships are the new currency, and if people don't understand that and they don't
Man.
embrace it
Woo.
and and operate, you know, from that point on, then
Mhm.
they're gonna be bankrupt, you know. And I have never forgotten when you said that, and it was just like, you know, light bulb on. But that's the truth. As much as I've been in technology and enterprise sales and all those types of things, there's never ever been anything greater than sitting down, having a cup of coffee with somebody, saying, "Hey, how's your family? How are the kids? You know, what are your goals?" and those types of things. Yes, we're working on some big, project of our careers, but people want to sit down. They want to look and talk to somebody. They want to get a feel. Do I trust this person?
Right.
You know, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's not always face to face. Sometimes it is a virtual thing. But at some point, we get a vibe and we trust our instincts, and those things, that's part of human nature. So again, when we look at the data and crunch those things and automate and have AI do all those things, there's still something that AI will never have, which is that heart and that spirit that we have.
Right. Yep. That human
And
spirit.
that's
Absolutely, man.
that's
Yeah.
that difference that'll
That
keep us,
tenacity.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that'll keep us going. So I,
Yep.
you know, I'm excited, you know, even in
Yeah.
the midst of a lot of chaos, probably in the last year or so for me on surface. You know, I know that there's a greater cause of things that are happening, whether I understand it or not. I know the man upstairs knows exactly what the plan is. So I'm like, I'm not
Man,
stressed about it. I won't worry about it. He told me to pivot and move here and just go here and trust it. I'm just trusting that process. I'm trusting
trust
him.
the process.
Yep.
Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, the Johnny Rio. Hit him up on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. He's out there. You need to Google him. Look, he's out there. Business
Yeah.
questions. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, Ma, your auntie had a question, but I think we kind of touched base on that. The question
You
was,
can ask me anything over and over. It don't matter.
okay, can AI be tailored to operate in an honest, proficient manner in business? Oh man, great question. Hold on.
Ooh.
Oh, great question. Woo-wee. Man, that got my spirit burning. Let me tell
Yeah.
you.
Good. So say the question again.
Can AI be tailored to operate in an honest, proficient manner in business?
Absolutely. But the question is, who defines what honest is?
Hmm. Hmm. Man, you're talking about trickling down a wavy road.
Yeah. So so so
Oh boy.
so so
Mm,
so the answer is yes, but it
mhm.
depends on who's defined what honest is.
Yeah.
You know.
Ooh,
So yeah,
yeah. Great
I believe
question.
so.
Great
But
answer.
so again, we as we as humans are the gatekeepers of, is this the right output, right?
Mhm.
But I do think about, not getting off tangent, but that was a great question. I think about AI right now, and this is one of the examples where they're going and looking at medical cases, right?
Right. Mhm.
Diagnosis or certain surgical procedures, and they're going back and ingesting tons and tons and tons of prior medical cases, and they are doing diagnosis just as accurate, if not better, than the doctors out there. That's where
Absolutely.
we can start to get some insane gains.
Results from that and gains. Yep. Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But we aren't, again, shifting all that burden onto AI. But again, we have to be gatekeepers, and the governance aspect of it. That these computers are getting smarter, but at the end of the day, they are getting the information that we as mankind have provided
Inputting,
with
not
anyway.
providing. Yep. Correct.
Yeah,
Look, man, this is the final boss. That's our time. The Johnny Rio,
appreciate you.
Turbo the CEO, brought to you by our Training Entertainment, our Training Music Group. Listen, I'm going to upload this onto Facebook. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Thanks,
Oh,
everyone.
man, it's such a great show. You know what? I think this is going to be a series, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
And look, I'm going to have other family members on, man.
I think
Listen,
you should. Yeah,
that's going to be great.
do it.
I think there's a lot of value in that, man.
You've
And
got a powerful plan.
yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Thank you. Salute to you.
Appreciate you.
And that is our show. Thanks everyone for tuning in. And you can catch it again once it's uploaded on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening and good night.
Take care.